the very baseline thinking about writing and communication as an exchange between composer and audience, then you kind of have to value collaboration. Right?
Especially the digital side of the field, just because creating digital scholarship requires so much work, and it's useful to think about expertise as distributed. So I think that component really speaks to how and why collaboration might be valued in certain contexts.
The field as a whole was really grounded in collaboration.
The field at large, I think, is very encouraging of collaborative work.
I feel like it's super valued.
I would say it's definitely embraced in rhetoric and composition, more so than maybe our colleagues in literature, perhaps.
On the literary side of things, we tend to be a bit more solitary.
Yeah, I think the tradition is more a scholar working alone. In rhetoric and composition here at OSU, I think it's very collaborative.
Rhet Comp is very open to collaborative work and has valued it a great deal over the last several decades. Institutionally, sometimes that story is a little bit different.
At my current institution, I think collaboration is probably implicitly valued, and perhaps more in terms of pedagogy. And so I'm probably going to make a distinction here between the process of collaboration and the product.
People who have come up for tenure recently have not had any collaborative scholarship. I'm a little nervous about that because I really value that, and I am envisioning a number of projects that have started or for the future, but I'm worried that if I do too much, then that'll hurt me, and that seems ridiculous.
To some degree, collaboration has become secondary to individuals, so you have to think about tenure and how these rankings and things are kind of valued within our institutions.
I definitely still have been given advice to still seek individual publication.
How am I positioning myself as a scholar, as a junior faculty, and as a scholar in the field of composition? So I often, now more than as a graduate student, have to take those into account.
Challenges that other scholars encounter have to do with tenure and promotion expectations. Some schools are more tied to the single scholar writing the single manuscript.
I still think there's a hangover about individually produced scholarship, and that in certain institutions it's valued a lot more than collaborative work.
My institution values collaboration, but in specific contexts or fields maybe, so I think it's a bit more nebulous being in the humanities.
I think those rules, especially around promotion to full professor, are going to slowly be changing, but at some institutions, collaborative work, especially in the humanities, is not always understood or is sometimes looked upon as not perhaps offering the clearest indication of individual intellectual contribution, which is kind of nuts.